Olivia Mason floated near the large window of the mining ship. She watched the small robots cut into the asteroid. The darkness of space surrounded her, with only tiny dots of light from faraway stars. As the ship's language expert, she didn't need to be here for mining work, but she enjoyed the view. It made her feel small yet important at the same time. "Lieutenant Mason, Captain wants you on the bridge," said a voice through her earpiece. "On my way," Olivia replied. She pushed away from the window and moved through the ship's hallways. The mining ship Horizon wasn't very big, but it held 50 crew members who worked, ate, and slept in the metal rooms. Olivia had been on board for 6 months. Her job was to study possible alien languages. Though no one had ever met an alien, many people thought it was a waste of time, but Olivia believed that somewhere, among all those stars, other beings must exist. When she reached the bridge, Captain Diane Foster stood looking at a large screen. Her face was serious, and her short, gray hair seemed to stand up more than usual. "Mason, look at this," Captain Foster said, pointing to the screen. "Tell me what you see." Olivia looked at the image. Among the blackness of space and the gray rocks of the asteroid field was something that shouldn't be there. A shape that shined like a diamond, catching light and throwing it back in rainbow colors. It was big, maybe half the size of their own. "Ship, is that a ship?" Olivia asked, her heart beating faster. "We think so," said Captain Foster. "And it's not one of ours." The room became very quiet. Everyone on the bridge looked at each other, understanding what this meant. If it wasn't a human ship, then... "It appeared 20 minutes ago," said Sonia, the radar operator. "No warning, no signs, just suddenly there." "Any communication?" Olivia asked, her mind already racing through the greeting phrases she had created for this very moment. "Nothing," Captain Foster said. "But there's something else, look." The captain pressed a button, and the image zoomed in. Now they could see that the shining ship had a dark hole in its side. Pieces of the ship floated nearby. "It's damaged," Olivia whispered. "Yes," said Captain Foster, "and it's drifting toward us." For the next hour, they watched the alien ship come closer. They tried sending radio messages, light signals, and every kind of greeting Olivia could think of. Nothing came back. "We need to decide," Captain Foster finally said. "Do we run or do we help?" "Help," Olivia said right away. "Captain, this is first contact. This is history. We can't just leave them." Not everyone agreed. Sam, the security chief, thought it might be a trap. Megan, the doctor, worried about alien diseases, but in the end, Captain Foster made her choice. "Prepare to bring that ship into Bay 3, she ordered. "Doctor, set up a quarantine area. Security, be ready, but no weapons unless I say so. And Mason..." "Yes, Captain?" "You're coming with me to meet our visitor." The alien ship was even more beautiful up close. It wasn't made of metal like human ships, but of something that looked like crystal. As they pulled it into the bay, it caught the lights and broke them into colors that danced across the walls. "How do we get inside?" Sam asked, holding his stun gun carefully. Before anyone could answer, part of the crystal ship simply disappeared, leaving an opening. Cold air rushed out, carrying a smell like burnt cinnamon. "Stay back," Captain Foster ordered, but Olivia was already moving forward. This was what her whole life had led to. Inside the ship was a single room. The walls curved and joined the floor, smoothly with no sharp edges anywhere. Strange symbols glowed on surfaces that looked both solid and liquid at the same time. And in the center? "There's someone in here," Olivia called out. Lying on what seemed to be a control panel was a woman, or at least a woman-shaped being. Her skin was pale and shimmered with colors that moved like oil on water. Her hair was white as snow but seemed to float slightly, even though the ship now had normal gravity. Her eyes were closed, but Olivia could see she was breathing. "Doctor," Captain Foster shouted, and Megan rushed in with her medical kit. As the doctor bent over the alien woman, her eyes suddenly opened. They were unlike any eyes Olivia had ever seen, large with pupils like a cat's, but glowing with an inner light that reminded Olivia of pictures of far-off galaxies. The alien woman tried to sit up but fell back. Her hand went to her side where a dark liquid seeped through her shining clothes. "She's hurt," Megan said, though no one needed to be told. The alien looked at each of them, then focused on Olivia. With shaking hands, she touched a small device on her wrist. A light appeared above it, forming shapes that changed rapidly. "I think she's trying to communicate," Olivia said, moving closer despite Sam's warning to stay back. The alien woman's fingers moved quickly over the light, and suddenly a voice came from the device. It spoke in broken, computerized English. "Help. Danger follows." "We'll help you," Olivia said clearly, pointing to Megan's medical kit. "She's a doctor." The alien seemed to understand. Her device hummed and the voice spoke again, better this time. Language pattern recognized. Translation improving. "Who are you?" Captain Foster asked. "Where did you come from?" The alien woman looked at them with those galaxy eyes. She touched her device again, and her next words made everyone on the ship freeze. "I am Zarathal, heir to the Luminary Empire. They destroyed my world. They will destroy yours next. Hide me, or your planet burns." Then her eyes closed, and she became still. "Get her to medical now," Captain Foster ordered, and crew members rushed to carefully move the alien woman. As they carried her past, her hand fell to the side, brushing against Olivia's arm. A shock like static electricity passed between them, and for just a second Olivia saw images in her mind. A beautiful world of crystal cities, then the same world burning, with black ships hovering above. Olivia knew, without understanding how, she knew that everything was about to change. For her, for the horizon, and for all of Earth. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The mining ship Horizon changed its course away from the asteroid field. They moved through space slowly, trying not to attract attention. Captain Foster told Earth about their alien visitor, but kept the information secret from the rest of the crew. Zarathal stayed in a special room in the medical area. Dr. Megan said the alien woman was healing, but it was taking time. Her body worked differently than human bodies. Sometimes her skin would shine so bright they had to wear special glasses to look at her. Olivia visited Zarathal every day. At first, it was to learn her language, but soon it became more than that. Olivia felt drawn to the alien princess in a way she couldn't explain. "How are you feeling today?" Olivia asked as she entered the room. Zarathal sat up in her bed. Her white hair floated around her face like it was underwater. The small device on her wrist made a soft humming sound. "My body heals," came the translated voice, "but my heart remains heavy." Over the past weeks, Zarathal had told them about her people, the Luminari. They lived in 12 star systems and had been traveling space for thousands of years. They were peaceful and shared their knowledge with other worlds. But then came the Void Collective. Zarathal described them as shadows that ate light. They weren't just aliens, they were more like parasites. They took over planets by infecting the people who lived there, turning them into hosts. "My world was the last to fall," Zarathal said, her skin turning a deep blue color that Olivia now knew meant sadness. "I escaped with this." She pointed to a small crystal hanging around her neck. It glowed with a soft inner light. "What is it?" Olivia asked. "Data. Knowledge. The weakness of the collective." Her translator voice had improved over time, sounding less robotic. "If they find it, nothing can stop them." Olivia sat on the edge of the bed. She had brought some things to show Zarathal, simple Earth objects that the alien found fascinating. A paperclip, a small plant in a pot, a book of poetry. "This is called a daisy," Olivia said, showing her the plant. Zarathal touched the white petals gently. Her fingers were longer than human fingers, with an extra joint. "On my world, we had flowers that could sing," she said. "When the wind blew, the fields would make music." Olivia tried to imagine such a place and felt sad knowing it was gone. "I brought something else," she said, taking out a small screen. "It's a movie. It shows what Earth is like." For the next hour, they watched scenes of Earth, cities, forests, oceans, and people going about their lives. Zarathal asked endless questions. Why did humans keep animals in their homes? Why did they wear so many different clothes? What was dancing for? Humans are strange, Zirathal said. But her skin turned a gentle pink color that meant she was happy. Later that night, after most of the crew had gone to sleep, Olivia returned to Zirathal's room. She couldn't sleep. The alien princess was awake too, looking out a small window at the stars. "Do you see your home from here?" Olivia asked. Zirathal pointed to a distant point of light. "That cluster of stars. My world circled the brightest. On." "I'm sorry," Olivia said, not knowing what else to say to someone who had lost everything. "The Luminari believe that nothing truly dies," Zirathal said. "Energy changes form but continues. My people live on in the stars now." They stood side by side, watching the universe move slowly past the window. Zirathal's skin glowed softly, in the dark room, casting light on Olivia's face. "Can I ask you something personal?" Olivia said after a while. "You may." "On your world, did you have someone special? Like a partner or—" Zirathal turned to look at her. Those amazing eyes seemed to see right through Olivia. "The royal family bonds differently than others," she explained. "We do not choose our life partners as you do. Our biology chooses for us." "How does that work?" "When a royal luminary meets their perfect match, their blood knows. It is what you might call destiny, but it is science to us. Our cells recognize the one person in the universe who completes us." "Has that happened to you?" Olivia asked, her heart beating a little faster. Zirathal didn't answer right away. Her skin rippled with colors, blue, then gold, then a deep purple Olivia hadn't seen before. "I was to be bonded to another royal from a neighboring system," she finally said. "But I never met them. The collective attacked before the ceremony." "So you never found your perfect match?" Zirathal looked back to the stars. "The universe is vast. The chances of finding one's true match are small even in normal times." They fell silent again. Olivia wanted to ask more but didn't know how. Instead, she pointed out Earth's constellations, teaching Zirathal the old stories behind the star patterns. "Humans see pictures in random stars," Zirathal said, sounding amused. "Bears and hunters and queens. What do the Luminari see?" "Pathways, maps, the stars guide us home." "But your home is gone," Olivia said softly. "Yes, now I must find a new one." As the night shift changed, they heard footsteps in the hallway. Soon they would need to go back to their separate rooms. Olivia felt a strange sadness at the thought of leaving. In the soft glow of starlight and Zirathal's luminescent skin, Olivia found herself staring at the alien princess. She truly was beautiful, but in a way Olivia had no words for. It wasn't human beauty, but something more, like staring at the northern lights or a perfect crystal. Without thinking, Olivia whispered, "You are very beautiful." The translation device on Zirathal's wrist hummed. Her eyes widened and her skin suddenly flushed a deep violet color that spread from her face down her neck and arms. She seemed shocked. "I'm sorry," Olivia said quickly. "I didn't mean to offend you." Zirathal raised a hand to stop her. She touched the device on her wrist, adjusting something. Then she reached out with those long, delicate fingers and touched Olivia's cheek. Her touch was warm, sending a small tingle across Olivia's skin. The translator voice spoke, but it sounded different, almost emotional. "In my culture, such words are a declaration of war." Zirathal paused, her galaxy eyes fixed on Olivia's. "Or a proposal of eternal bonding." Olivia felt her mouth go dry. "I didn't know." "Which do you offer, Olivia Mason of Earth?" The question hung in the air between them. Olivia opened her mouth to explain that it was just a compliment, nothing more. But before she could speak, a loud alarm started blaring throughout the ship. Red emergency lights flashed in the hallway. Captain Foster's voice came over the ship's speakers. "All hands to battle stations. Unknown vessels approaching at high speed." Zirathal's skin changed instantly from violet to a bright, alarming red. "They found me," she whispered, and for the first time since they'd met, Olivia heard real fear in her voice. Who? The Void Collective. They followed me to your ship. Xyrathal grabbed Olivia's hands. You must help me hide the data. If they get it, your world dies next. The ship shook as something hit it. The lights flickered and the alarm grew louder. What do we do? Olivia asked, her heart pounding with fear. Xyrathal's eyes glowed brighter than Olivia had ever seen them. We fight, she said. The ship shook again. Olivia grabbed the wall to keep from falling. Through the small window she saw them, 3 massive ships that seemed to swallow the light around them. They weren't black exactly, but more like holes in space itself. We need to get to the bridge, Olivia said, helping Xyrathal to her feet. The alien princess had been healing for weeks, but she was still weak. Her skin flickered between red alarm and pale blue fear as they moved into the hallway. Mason, get down. Sam, the security chief, appeared at the end of the hall. He pushed them back into the room as something exploded nearby. What's happening? Olivia asked. They're boarding us, Sam said, checking his weapon. 3 ships surrounded us before we could run. Captain says they've attached to the hull in sections B and C. They're coming for me, Xyrathal said. Her translator voice sounded flat, but her eyes showed her terror. Then we don't let them get you, Sam replied simply. He handed Olivia a small gun. Remember your training. Point and press. The ship's communication system crackled. Captain Foster's voice came through, sounding stressed but controlled. Attention all crew. We have been boarded by unknown hostiles. They have breached levels 2 and 3. All personnel evacuate to escape pods immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, evacuate immediately. That's our cue, Sam said. The escape? Pods are 2 levels down. We need to move fast. They stepped into the hallway again. Emergency lights cast red shadows on the walls. The air smelled like burning plastic. As they turned a corner, they heard sounds that made them freeze. Wet, sliding noises and low moans. Back, Sam whispered, pushing them into a side room. Through the small window in the door, they watched as 3 figures moved past. They looked almost human, but wrong somehow. Their skin was black and shiny like oil. They had no faces, just smooth surfaces where features should be. Void soldiers, Xyrathal whispered. Infected hosts. When the creatures passed, they continued toward the escape pods. The ship felt empty now. Most of the crew must have already evacuated. How many people were on board? Xyrathal asked. 52, Olivia answered. And how many will fit in your escape vessels? Each pod holds 6 people. We have 10 pods. Xyrathal did the math quickly. All can escape then. They reached the stairway to the lower level, but stopped when they heard more of those wet sliding sounds below. Sam looked over the railing. There are at least 5 of them down there, he said. We need another way. The maintenance tunnels, Olivia suggested. They connect all levels. They found an access panel and crawled into the narrow space between the ship's walls. It was hot and dusty, but empty of enemies. As they moved through the tunnels, they heard fighting, shouts, gunfire, and those terrible moaning sounds. Your weapons will not stop them for long, Xyrathal said. The host bodies feel no pain. Then what will stop them? Sam asked. Xyrathal touched the crystal around her neck. I can. They reached another access panel. Sam checked outside, then motioned that it was clear. They emerged near the escape pod bay, but as they approached the doors, they heard Captain Foster's voice. Mason, over here. The captain was hiding behind a fallen piece of equipment. Her arm was bleeding and her uniform was torn. The pods are overrun, she said grimly. Those things are waiting there, catching people as they arrive. Is there another way off the ship? Olivia asked, feeling panic rise in her chest. The research shuttle, Captain Foster said after thinking for a moment. Bay 5. It's small, but it can reach Earth. How far are we from Earth? Xyrathal asked. About 3 days at full speed. They changed direction, moving carefully through the damaged ship. Twice they had to hide from patrols of the faceless soldiers. Once they saw a crew member being dragged away screaming. We can't help them, Captain Foster said, holding Olivia back. We need to get her off this ship. She nodded toward Xyrathal. As they neared Bay 5, they heard a loud explosion from somewhere deep in the ship. "They're destroying the engines," Sam said. "We don't have much time." Just then, 3 of the oil-skinned creatures appeared in front of them. They made those horrible moaning sounds and started moving forward with jerky steps. "Run!" Sam shouted, raising his gun. He fired at the creatures, but the shot seemed to pass right through them. Captain Foster grabbed Olivia and Xerathal, pulling them down another hallway. Behind them, they heard Sam scream once, then silence. "Keep moving," the captain said, her face grim. They reached Bay 5 and found the small research shuttle. It wasn't much, just a pod with engines and basic controls, but it was their only hope now. "Get in," Captain Foster ordered, pushing them toward the shuttle. "All set." The launch sequence. As Olivia helped Xerathal into the shuttle, she heard a wet sliding sound behind her. She turned to see one of the faceless creatures grabbing Captain Foster. "Go!" the captain shouted, struggling with the thing. "Get her to Earth! That's an order, Mason!" Olivia raised her gun, but she couldn't fire without hitting the captain. Before she could decide what to do, Xerathal pushed past her. The alien princess stood straight, her weakness suddenly gone. She raised her hands, and her skin began to glow. Not the soft light Olivia was used to, but a blinding, burning brightness that filled the whole bay. "Shield your eyes!" Xerathal shouted. Olivia turned away just as a wave of pure light exploded from the alien woman. When she looked back, the faceless creature was gone, not just dead, but completely gone, as if it had never existed. "Captain." Foster lay on the floor, stunned but alive. "How did you—" Olivia began, but Xerathal swayed and nearly fell. "The royal bloodline," she said weakly. "We can channel energy, but it costs strength." They helped Captain Foster into the shuttle and sealed the door. As Olivia started the launch sequence, they felt the ship shake again. "The horizon is breaking apart," Captain Foster said, looking at the monitors. "We need to launch now." The shuttle shot out of the bay just as a massive explosion tore through the mining ship. The force pushed them away faster than the engines could have, sending them tumbling through space. When Olivia finally stabilized the shuttle, she looked back. The horizon was gone, just floating pieces of metal where the ship had been. The 3 black enemy vessels hovered nearby. "They'll follow us," Xerathal said, her voice tired. "Not if they think we died in the explosion," Captain Foster suggested. "Set course for Earth, but power down all systems except life support. Let us drift for a while." Olivia did as ordered. The shuttle went dark and quiet, floating among the debris of the destroyed ship. Through the window, they watched the black ships move slowly through the wreckage, searching. "Will it work?" Olivia whispered. "Maybe," Captain Foster said. "If we're lucky." Hours passed in tense silence. Finally, the black ships seemed to lose interest. They moved away, disappearing into the darkness of space. "They're gone," Olivia said, hardly believing it. "We made it." "No," Xerathal said, her galaxy eyes fixed on the distant stars. "They're not gone. They're heading for Earth." Captain Foster checked the navigation system. "She's right. Their course will take them directly to our planet." "How long until they reach Earth?" Olivia asked. 2 days, maybe less. They're faster than us." Xerathal touched the crystal around her neck. "Then we have 2 days to prepare your world for war." Olivia restarted the shuttle's engines. As they set course for Earth, she looked at the alien princess. Xerathal's skin was pale now, almost transparent. The energy blast had taken a terrible toll on her. "Will you be okay?" Olivia asked softly. Xerathal met her eyes. "I will heal. But first I must explain what your world faces. The Void Collective doesn't just destroy planets, Olivia. They consume them. Every person, every animal, every plant becomes a host for their parasites." "And you know how to stop them?" Captain Foster asked. Xerathal nodded. "The data in this crystal contains the key, a weakness in their biology. But to use it, I need your world's scientists. And time. Time we don't have," Olivia said. "Then we must make the most of what we have." Xerathal reached out and took Olivia's hand. Her touch sent that same tingle across Olivia's skin. When we reach Earth, take me to your leaders and prepare them for the truth, that an enemy like none they've ever known is coming. The shuttle sped toward Earth, a tiny speck of light racing the darkness that followed behind. The small shuttle broke through Earth's atmosphere, trailing fire behind it. Olivia fought with the controls, trying to keep them from burning up. "We're coming in too fast," she shouted over the roar of the engines. Captain Foster, despite her injuries, moved to help. "Aim for the trees, the forest will slow us down." They crashed into a dense forest, snapping trees like twigs. The shuttle bounced once, twice, then skidded to a stop in a small clearing. Inside, everything was quiet except for the hiss of broken systems and the groan of metal cooling. "Everyone alive?" Captain Foster asked, pulling herself from her seat. Olivia checked herself for injuries. Some cuts and bruises, but nothing serious. She turned to Zirathal and found the alien princess still strapped in her seat, her eyes closed and her skin almost transparent. "Zirathal?" Olivia touched her face gently. The galaxy eyes opened slowly. "I am here," she said weakly. They helped each other out of the damaged shuttle. The air smelled of pine and burning fuel. Birds called in the distance, unaware that their world was about to change forever. "Where are we?" Zirathal asked, looking up at Earth's blue sky. "Northern forests," Captain Foster said, checking a small device from her pocket. "About 200 miles from the nearest city." "We need to contact someone," Olivia said. "Tell them what's coming." "Who would believe us?" Captain Foster sighed. "Aliens attacking Earth? They'll think we're crazy." Before they could decide what to do, they heard the sound of engines. Not spacecraft, but helicopters, growing louder. "Someone found us already," Olivia said. "Hide," Captain Foster ordered, pointing to Zirathal. "We don't know who's coming." But it was too late. 3 black helicopters appeared above the trees, circling the crash site. Men in dark uniforms dropped down on ropes, surrounding them with weapons raised. "Hands up! Don't move!" one of them shouted. Captain Foster and Olivia raised their hands slowly. Zirathal, too weak to stand on her own, leaned against Olivia. A woman stepped forward from the group of soldiers. She wore a plain black suit and had short brown hair. Her face was serious but not unkind. "Captain Diane Foster? Lieutenant Olivia Mason?" she asked. "Yes," Captain Foster answered cautiously. "Who are you?" The woman showed them a small badge. "Special Agent Kelly Wright, Earth. Defense Division." "Earth Defense Division," Olivia repeated. "I've never heard of it." "That's the point," Agent Wright said. Her eyes moved to Zirathal, widening slightly at the alien's appearance. "And this must be your passenger." "How did you know about us?" Captain Foster demanded. "We've been monitoring your communications with Earth Command for months," Agent Wright explained. "We know you found an alien ship and its pilot. We've been waiting for your return." She looked up at the sky. "But you're not alone, are you?" "No," Olivia said. "There are 3 ships following us. Hostile aliens called the Void Collective. They'll be here within 2 days." Agent Wright nodded as if this was exactly what she expected to hear. "Then we don't have much time. Come with us." The soldiers lowered their weapons. 2 of them approached Zirathal carefully. "She needs medical attention," Olivia said protectively. "We have doctors who can help her," Agent Wright assured them. "Special doctors." They were taken to the helicopters and flown for almost an hour. Below them, forests gave way to fields, then to a mountain range. The helicopter landed on a pad built into the side of a mountain. Inside the mountain was a massive complex, hallways, rooms, and people everywhere, all wearing similar black uniforms. "What is this place?" Captain Foster asked as they walked through the busy halls. "Earth's first and last line of defense against extraterrestrial threats," Agent Wright answered. "We've existed in secret for 50 years, preparing for this day." They took Zirathal to a medical room where strange equipment lined the walls. Doctors in protective suits examined her while Olivia watched anxiously. "Will she be okay?" Olivia asked one of the doctors. "Her biology is unlike anything we've seen. the doctor admitted. But she's stable. She needs rest and whatever passes. For food in her species. Light, Olivia said, remembering what Xerathal had told her. Her people absorb energy from light. The doctors adjusted the room's lighting, making it brighter. Xerathal's skin seemed to drink in the light, becoming less transparent. Later, Agent Wright took them to a large room with screens covering the walls. Men and women worked at computers, monitoring what looked like global communications and defense systems. This is our command center, Wright explained. From here, we watch the skies and coordinate our global response teams. A tall man with gray hair approached them. Agent Wright, report. Director Miller, these are the crew members from the horizon, and they've confirmed our worst fears. Hostile forces are approaching Earth. The director looked at Olivia and Captain Foster seriously. Tell me everything. For the next hour, they explained what had happened, finding Xerathal, learning about the Luminari and the Void Collective, the attack on their ship, and their narrow escape. And you say these aliens will arrive within 48 hours? Director Miller asked. Yes, Captain Foster confirmed. They're faster than anything we have. Can we fight them? Agent Wright asked. Captain Foster shook her head. Not with conventional weapons. Our guns had no effect on them. But she can help us, Olivia said, pointing to where Xerathal rested in a chair nearby. The alien princess looked better already, her skin glowing softly under the bright lights. She has data on their weakness. Xerathal stood and approached the group. Her translator device hummed as she spoke. The Void Collective is a parasitic species. They do not just kill, they infect and take over host bodies. Once a planet is infected, they use its resources to build more ships and spread to other worlds. Like a virus, Director Miller said. Yes. But all parasites have weaknesses. The crystal I carry contains data on a specific frequency that disrupts their neural connection to host bodies. A frequency? Like sound? Agent Wright asked. Like light, Xerathal corrected. A specific wavelength of energy that breaks their control. My people were developing weapons based on this discovery when they attacked. I escaped with the research. Can we build these weapons in time? Director Miller asked. With your help, perhaps. But I must warn you, they will send advanced scouts before their main ships arrive. Small parasites that will seek important hosts, leaders, military personnel, scientists. As if to confirm her warning, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. One of the operators called out to Director Miller. Sir, we're getting reports of strange black objects falling in major cities worldwide. New York, London, Beijing, Moscow. It's starting, Xerathal said grimly. Director Miller turned to the room. Initiate Global Defense Protocol Alpha. Want all world leaders move to secure locations immediately. And get our best scientists in here. We need those weapons yesterday. The next 24 hours passed in a blur of activity. Xerathal worked with Earth scientists, translating the data from her crystal into something they could understand. Olivia stayed by her side, helping with the translations and watching as the alien princess grew stronger. Reports came in from around the world, people acting strangely, their skin turning dark and shiny. Governments tried to contain the spread, but panic was growing. It's happening too fast, Agent Wright said, looking at the latest reports. We're losing control of entire cities. The weapons aren't ready, one of the scientists reported. We need more time. In a quiet moment, Olivia found Xerathal alone in the lab. The alien princess stood looking at a map of Earth, watching as more areas turned red. Infected zones. We're losing, aren't we? Olivia asked softly. Xerathal turned to her. This happened on my world too. First the scouts, then widespread. Infection, then. She didn't finish the sentence. There must be something else we can do, Olivia said desperately. Xerathal was quiet for a long moment. Then she touched the crystal around her neck. There is one thing, but it comes with great risk. Her galaxy eyes met Olivia's. Do you remember what I told you about the Luminari royal bloodline? That you can channel energy, Olivia said, remembering the blinding light that had destroyed the faceless creature on the ship. Yes, but there is more. Zirathal stepped closer to Olivia. The royal bloodline carries more than just energy. It carries the memories and knowledge of all who came before. 15,000 years of luminary wisdom. What does that mean? It means I am more than just the last princess, Zirathal said. I am the last vessel of my entire civilization's knowledge. If I die without passing it on, all of the luminary dies with me. Olivia felt a chill. How do you pass it on? In my culture, when we find our soul match, we can transfer this knowledge through a bonding process. Zirathal's skin began to flush that same violet color Olivia had seen on the ship. That night when you spoke to me, when you said I was beautiful, you said it was a declaration of war or a proposal, Olivia remembered. Yes, because those words, spoken from the heart, activate the recognition sequence in royal luminary, biology. Zirathal reached out and touched Olivia's face with those long, delicate fingers. My species evolved to recognize their perfect genetic complement through an emotional response, what humans might call love at first sight. Olivia felt her heart beating faster. Are you saying? Alarms blared throughout the mountain facility. On the large screens in the command center, they watched as the 3 black ships positioned themselves above major cities, New York, Beijing, and London. They're releasing something, Agent Wright said, pointing to dark clouds pouring from the ships. More parasites, Zirathal explained. Millions of them. Director Miller turned to the room. What's the status on the weapons? One of the scientists stepped forward. We've managed to create a prototype based on the luminary data. It generates the energy frequency that should disrupt the parasite's control, but what? Miller demanded. Its range is limited, maybe half a mile at most, and we only have the one device. Miller's face fell. That's not enough. We need global coverage. We could upload the frequency to satellites, Captain Foster suggested. Broadcast it worldwide. There's no time, the scientist said. Reprogramming the satellite network would take days. Zirathal stepped forward, her face determined. There is another way. She looked at Olivia. But I need your help. Anything, Olivia said without hesitation. Zirathal removed the crystal from around her neck. In her hands it glowed brighter than before. This contains more than just data, she explained to the room. It holds a part of the luminary collective consciousness, the combined knowledge and energy of my people. With the right conduit, it could amplify the frequency to cover the entire planet. What kind of conduit? Director Miller asked. Zirathal looked at Olivia again. A bonded pair, one luminary, one human, connected through the royal bloodline. I don't understand, Agent Wright said. She means me, Olivia said quietly. She wants to share her bloodline with me. The room fell silent. Director Miller frowned. Is that even possible? Human and alien biology? The luminary evolved to adapt, Zirathal said. Our royal line especially. The bond would partially transform Olivia's biology, enough to channel our energy manipulation abilities. What would happen to me? Olivia asked. Your DNA would partially rewrite itself. You would gain some luminary traits, energy sensitivity, perhaps some physical changes, and we would share a telepathic connection. Zirathal's voice softened. It is permanent, Olivia, and it must be voluntary. A true soul bond cannot be forced. Before Olivia could respond, one of the operators called out in alarm. Sir, we're detecting movement in the mountain. The infected are inside the facility. Security cameras showed corridors filled with the faceless creatures, moving steadily toward the command center. How did they find us so quickly? Captain Foster asked. They followed us, Zirathal said grimly. The royal bloodline gives off a unique energy signature. They can sense it. We need to evacuate, Miller ordered. Get the prototype weapon and all essential personnel to the backup site. There's no time, Zirathal insisted. We must act now, or all is lost. Olivia looked at the screens showing the advancing parasites, then back to Zirathal. What do I need to do? Zirathal held out the crystal. Accept this and with it my bond. Chaos erupted around them as the facility's defenses engaged. Gunfire echoed from nearby corridors. But in the center of the storm, Olivia and Zirathal stood facing each other, a moment of stillness in the madness. "Will it hurt?" Olivia asked. "Yes," Zirathal admitted. "The transformation is not easy, but I will be with you through it." Olivia took a deep breath. "I accept." Zirathal placed the crystal in Olivia's hand, then covered it with her own. The crystal began to glow brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Repeat after me," Zirathal said. "In the light of dying stars." "In the light of dying stars," Olivia repeated. "I bind my soul to yours. I bind my soul to yours. Two become one across the void. Two become one across the void." As Olivia spoke the final words, the crystal shattered between their hands, but instead of falling to pieces, it turned to liquid light that ran up Olivia's arm like quicksilver. She gasped as burning pain shot through her body. Every cell felt like it was being torn apart and rebuilt. She would have fallen if Zirathal hadn't caught her. The alien princess held her close, their foreheads touching. Zirathal's skin glowed brighter than Olivia had ever seen, the light seeming to pass between them. "Stay with me," Zirathal whispered, but Olivia heard it in her mind rather than through the translator. The pain peaked, then suddenly transformed into something else, a rush of energy and awareness unlike anything Olivia had ever experienced. She could feel Zirathal's presence in her mind, their thoughts intertwining. And beyond that, echoes of countless other minds, the stored knowledge of generations of luminary royalty. When Olivia opened her eyes, the room had fallen silent. Everyone was staring at her. She could see their auras now, fields of energy surrounding each person, shifting with their emotions. "Olivia?" Captain Foster asked cautiously. Olivia looked down at her hands. Her skin had a subtle glow to it, not as bright as Zirathal's, but definitely not human anymore. When she touched her face, she felt the slight ridge of new bone structure around her eyes. "I'm okay," she said, surprised to find her voice unchanged. "I can feel everything." The moment was broken by the sound of the command center doors being forced open. The infected had reached them. "What now?" Director Miller asked, drawing his weapon. Zirathal and Olivia looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. "The prototype," Zirathal said. "We need it." The scientist quickly brought over the device they had been working on, a small cylinder with complex circuitry inside. "It's not powerful enough," the scientist warned. "It will be," Olivia said, with certainty. She could feel the knowledge flowing from Zirathal into her mind, how to modify the device, how to channel their combined energy into it. Working together, their hands moving in perfect coordination, they made rapid adjustments to the prototype. Olivia understood concepts that would have been impossible for her before: quantum resonance fields, dimensional energy transfer, subatomic wave manipulation. The doors burst open. Faceless creatures poured into the command center. Security. Personnel fired at them, but the bullets passed through their oil-like bodies without effect. "Get behind us," Zirathal shouted to the humans. She and Olivia stood side by side, facing the infected. They held the modified device between them. "Now," Zirathal said in Olivia's mind. Together they activated the device. It began to hum, vibrating with increasing intensity. Olivia felt energy building inside her. Not just her own, but Zirathal's too. And beyond that, the collective power of generations of luminary royalty stored in the crystal that now flowed in her veins. They raised their free hands, palms outward. The energy moved through them, amplified by their bond and focused through the device. Light built around them, growing in intensity until everyone had to shield their eyes. Then it burst outward in a wave that passed through walls and people alike. The faceless creatures stopped moving. Their oil-like skin seemed to freeze. Then, crack like glass. One by one, they collapsed into piles of black dust. On the screens that still functioned, they watched as the wave expanded outward from the mountain facility. It crossed cities and oceans, growing rather than dissipating as it traveled. Wherever it touched the infected, they fell. Above the three major cities, the black ships shuddered as the wave hit them. For a moment, nothing happened. Then cracks appeared in their surfaces, spreading like spiderwebs across their hulls. Light poured from the cracks, growing brighter until the ships themselves seemed to be made of light. Then they exploded, not with fire and destruction, but with pure energy that rained down like gentle snow over the cities below. In the command center, Olivia fell to her knees, exhausted. Zirathal knelt beside her, supporting her. "Did it work?" Olivia asked aloud. Agent Wright was checking the global monitors. "Reports coming in from all stations," she said, amazement in her voice. "The infected are gone. Just piles of black dust everywhere, and the ships have been destroyed." Director Miller approached them cautiously. "You did it," he said. "You saved Earth." Zirathal helped Olivia to her feet. The bond between them hummed with shared emotions, relief, exhaustion, and something deeper that neither had names for yet. "What happens now?" Captain Foster asked, looking at Olivia's subtly changed appearance. "Now we rebuild," Director Miller said. "And we prepare, because if there's one hostile species out there, there could be others." Weeks passed. The world slowly recovered from the Void Collective's attack. Governments worked together to clean up the remains and repair the damage. The public was told a modified version of the truth, that Earth had been attacked, but a new defense system had saved them. In a private room at the mountain facility, Olivia stood before a mirror, studying her new appearance. Her eyes now had vertical pupils like Zirathal's, though less pronounced. Her skin had a subtle luminescence, especially in dim light. And sometimes, when her emotions ran high, it would change color slightly. Not the dramatic shifts of a full luminari, but enough to reveal her feelings to those who knew what to look for. Zirathal entered the room, her galaxy eyes finding Olivia's in the mirror. "The United Nations is ready for us," she said. Through their bond, Olivia felt Zirathal's nervousness. "They'll listen to you," Olivia assured her. "After what happened, they have to." Zirathal moved to stand beside her, at the mirror.